real quick, before we jump into the content, I want to talk to you about something new that we have going on. So below, you're going to see a link below in the comments, a link to our new private Facebook group. So we've got a GSD Mode private Facebook group that's dedicated to those of you that like watching the show, that enjoy the show, that get value out of the show. It's a place for you to go to mastermind with other GSD Mode fans. You can go in there and make sure that you're not missing out on any of the content. All the episodes will be in there from leveling up to interviews. So to make sure that you're not missing out on the content, but again, gives you the opportunity to mastermind with other like-minded people. You guys can sit there and mastermind on how maybe the content, interviews, different things that you're applying to your life, what's working, what's not working, and gives you that place to go out there and mastermind. So click below, check that out. Also, any promos, specials that we have going on will be posted inside that group, and we're going to be creating some private content that just will exist in that group. So make sure you click below. This is a private group, so click below. We'll make sure to get you approved right away and get you rocking and rolling inside the group. Also, want to give our sponsors a quick plug that make all of this possible. Our first sponsor is Perfect Storm, www.perfectstormnow.com. It's the real estate software that I use in my business. Helps me go out there and generate well over 1,200 free leads every single month and over 30 paid leads every single day in my real estate business. It's the most effective, affordable lead generation, front-end branding website that exists out there. So go check us out, www.perfectstormnow.com. Also, my 90-day mastery bootcamp. If you're looking for a mentorship in your real estate business, if you're looking for a coach, it's by far the most effective, affordable, hardcore coaching platform that exists out there. I give you my whole entire playbook. I walk you through it. I show you what we're doing to go out there and sell over 2 homes every single day, and what we're doing to go out there and produce at the high level that we produce. The whole entire program, you guys, is only $997. You know, right? This took me 11 years to learn this content. I've reinvested over $5.8 million back into my real estate business to learn this content. For only $997, I'm delivering it all to you. 3 hours every single week of hardcore coaching, Q&A. You get daily access to me throughout the program for a full 90 days. So go check that out, www.90daymastery.com. Promo code LIVEMASTERY, all caps, all one word, all together. And if you go through that program, then you're given the opportunity. You don't have to move forward, but you get the choice to move forward to our private Mastery alumni group. So that's continued mentorship for as long as they want to continue with me. We have 2 in-person masterminds. It's the only group that I do in-person live hardcore masterminds twice a year, 20 hours at each event. It's only $50 a month, right? So if you want to take your life, your business to the next level, go check us out. All right, let's jump in today's content. Hopefully you guys enjoy this content as much as I enjoy it. What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD interview. Every single week we interview top entrepreneurs and just strip top badasses. You guys are out there dominating their space. These are people that are choosing to not go out there and live a life of mediocrity, but instead to go out there and create a big life and do big things for themselves and their families. So today, you guys, I'm really excited for our guest. This guy's an absolute rock star in business and then also in the health and fitness space. So really excited and honored to have Scott Keppel on the show. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. Dude. I mean, you got so much going on, right? You're one of the top trainers, really in the planet in your space, and you've been able to create it into a very successful, not just get success for your clients, but also a very successful business for yourself. So before we jump in though to what you're doing today, I'm really interested to rewind the clocks and just talk about how you got started in this entrepreneurship journey in the first place, man.
Sure. No, I'd love to share, and thank you for all the kind words. I appreciate it. Yeah, so for me, I've had now my business, Scott's Training Systems, formerly Body by Scott, for 12 years. I've been on my own. Prior to that, I worked at a major gym out here in Arizona, but I'm originally from Ohio. So back in Ohio, I went to Hiram College, played 4 years of football there, Division III. Studied business. I have a degree in organizational analysis and administration with a minor in communication. But I remember back in high school telling my football coach at the time and business coach, I was like, when I get older, I want to own my own gym and a bar. I've now since realized having a family, I don't want that other part. I don't want those hours. But here I am, at 40 years old with my own studio. In Chandler, Arizona, we do a lot of online training too. I have 8 coaches that work for me. So I'm very blessed, to be doing what I love every single day and create a space that allows other coaches to do what they love.
Yep, that's awesome, man. So, I'm interested in how your journey was from you're working for a facility, right? Because it's kind of like, okay, hey, I'm a great chef and I'm working at this restaurant, and then I have this desire to go out there and open my own restaurant. But just because I can cook really good doesn't mean I'm going to be successful with that. So when you decided to do that, going from being an amazing trainer to now opening your own operation, what was that like, man? I mean, what were some of the struggles that you had to overcome, and maybe some of the things that you became a challenge that you had to overcome that you never would have fathomed would be a challenge?
Sure. So again, my background is in business. So I worked for a rental car place back in Ohio. Moved up faster than anyone had ever done in those branches. So I always had the drive to succeed and to have my own thing. And then when I moved out here and I was working at that major chain gym, things were going well. They actually asked me to move up there, but I really didn't want a management position. And my wife got pregnant with our first child, and part of what we wanted to do was for her to be able to be home more. And so when you work at a major gym, there's a lot of pluses to it, but one of the minuses is typically you cap out. So I was making as much as I really could make there based on what they allowed you to charge and what they paid you per hour. So the only option was to work more hours, or open up my own thing. So we decided at that time to leave that gym, and we took 19 out of 21 people with us and went into our garage. And we started with a 0% credit card, $10,000 limit, and we equipped the garage. Put in, and here in AZ, it gets pretty hot. So we put in a little air conditioning type unit, put in a ceiling fan in the garage, had some like tinfoil up to shade out the windows a little bit. And that's where we started. And the goal was to be there for a year or so while my wife was, while we were trying to figure everything out. But what was happening is a couple coaches came up, trainers came up and were like, "What are you doing? Like, can I come work for you?" I was like, I don't really have the space in my garage. And it's, not necessarily like some cities don't really allow you to have a business out of your house. So, so I was like, I can't really do that now. I had clients I was turning them away because at the time, people pretty much did one-on-one training. So, people weren't into what, and we'll talk about later, obviously, what we do now, semi-private training in small group. It was pretty much either you went to a class or you had a trainer and it was one-on-one. So my days were filled. I was like, now I'm turning away business too. And one of my goals has always been to help as many people as I can. And to put a number on it, it's millions. That's what I want to help. I want to reach millions of lives, trainers, clients, everything. And I wasn't living my dream because I was telling, I had to say no to people. So my wife and I decided to look around. We found our first space, which is 800 square feet at the time. Pretty much had to sign our life away. And it was scary. I mean, it definitely was. Is this going to happen? Will the people stay? As you know, being an entrepreneur, not everyone says it's a great idea, and you do it, and so all of a sudden, some of them don't come. And not anything against them. Something came up in their life, and they couldn't follow you or whatever it is. So there's always that. And but we opened up our first place, and next thing you know, I was interviewing people in our house, where I'm at actually right now in our house, and you might hear my kids running around in the background. But yeah, I'm sitting there interviewing people while I'm holding on to my little baby girl. And I'm like, listen, I don't have a place yet, but it's being built out. And this is the vision for it. So if you're okay with that, come on board. And so we started off with 3 coaches with us at that time. Currently, one of them is still with me. The other one moved to California to become a chiropractor. He's back in town, and we refer people back and forth. And the other one moved back to where she was from, back in New Jersey. So it's pretty cool to see, like, I still have contact with those trainers. So that was, the biggest fear at that time, which a lot of people have, was, taking that step forward. But for me, what I wanted for my family outweighed the fear, and so that's what, if I could say one thing that, like, entrepreneurs out there, you really have to have that plus minus column. And not that you have to have more pluses versus minuses, it's the weight of the pluses. That matter to me more, and so for me at that time, just knowing we wanted my wife to not have to work full time, and I have 3 kids, for her to be able to be home, be a part of their life, was extremely important to us. And we were blessed, to move forward, to have some great mentors in my life, and have a great team behind me, because I definitely would not be where I'm at today if it wasn't for all of those people that believe in me and believe in me from the beginning.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So, all right, so you go from managing your own clientele, right? Kind of doing what you're doing, and now all of a sudden you have to manage people, which can be
Yeah.
difficult. And a lot of people may not want to get into business because, like, man, I don't want to manage people. I don't want the headache. I mean, what was that like, being able to balance all of that, and maybe where some, again, those obstacles you had to overcome with that, those challenges, and ultimately, how did you create that into a success?
Sure, it's a great question. It's something I'm still dealing with daily. I was just at the IDEA conference, which is one of the largest conferences for fitness professionals in the world. So I was just there this past weekend, and the courses I really focused on this time were how to be a better leader, a motivator, and because I'm still learning. Things are evolving. Again, I'm 40. The workforce coming in, are in their 20s. How do you manage them versus someone my age? So I'm always learning, and that fear was, for me, the name of my company is Scott's Training Systems. It used to be Body by Scott, but thanks to a certain body by someone else, I got letters in the mail saying I needed to cease and and change my name. So I took that as quite a compliment. But so yeah, so my name is on the door, and the only thing I can control in life, I always tell my coaches, my clients, is my word. Like, things can come and go, people can come and go, sadly, but if I say I'm going to do something, that's the one thing that I can guarantee. Because if it didn't happen, then I didn't live up to my word. So now you get people working underneath you, and you say, hey, listen, Josh, I'll have him there for you at 5 a.m. You'll meet with such and such. If he doesn't show, that's on me. And that's, again, that's that fear. What if someone doesn't show? What if someone steals clients? I mean, I've had several coaches with me. I've been fortunate enough to see several of them open up their own place, which is cool, but at the same time stinks, because then when they leave, guess where their clients go? And that's the fear. People sometimes they want to keep everything for themselves. It's like, I can't have people because I don't want to share my knowledge, and someone's going to steal my knowledge. But for me, I feel like I have a gift, and I want to share it with as many people as I can. And I can't live afraid that, you're going to come in and steal my clients. So managing people, I continually try and be a better leader, better listener, better motivator. I encourage my coaches to get educated and help them. We have a new rollout for my trainers coming out to help educate them and make sure that they stay at the top of their game as well, too. So I have 110% confidence in my team. And it took a while to get there. And a lot of that, again, is letting go of your own ego. Thinking like you're the best one and no one can do as good of a job as you can. I've tried to hire coaches that I feel are smarter than me, definitely in different areas. So if someone were to say, like, who can you guys coach? Anyone. I specialize, and I know we'll get into that, in certain things. But my team as a whole, you name it, we can do it.
Yep. Now, love, man, it's powerful. So, yeah, going into that with what your specialty is, and because like you're college football player, and
Yeah.
but I know, and I'm sure you have a lot of different areas that you go into, but I know a lot of your training clients are pageant, Miss USA pageants. I believe I read that you had 8 this year or last year in the
Correct.
Miss USA, and like, dude, what got you into that? And did you ever think that you would be in that niche?
No, it's funny you asked that. We were just talking. I'm going to be speaking later this year to trainers about perimenopausal training and training for aesthetics. And then we were talking about pageant. I was like, I bet these girls, when they think of, like, I'm going to get a trainer, they're thinking, all right, the guy is probably a meathead. I did natural bodybuilding. Yeah, I played football all the way through high school, college, from Ohio, Midwest. Um, you know, 40-year-old, happily married man. I bet that's who's going to train me. I don't think I'm like what they would think. And I got into it because back when my location used to be in Tempe, there was a tanning place behind us. And at the time, Kimberly Joyner, she's now married, Kimberly Garrett, was competing for Miss USA from Arizona. And the tanning place was, hey, can you talk to this girl? She has this trainer. She's really upset. she's got this big thing going on. I met her. I was like, USA. I kind of remember watching that as a kid, but I trained, figure competitors, bikini competitors. I was like, sure, I can help you. Because this trainer at the time was giving her the same exact diet he was giving someone else. He was also saying negative things to her, saying her body looked a certain way and was sending pictures. Not really like they were inappropriate. It'd be like of his abs or his legs, his arms. I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe this is happening. So I was like, sure, I'll help you. And she transformed so much, not only physically, but mentally, that her director, Britt Boyce, who runs Casting Crown Productions, which is in charge of Arizona and Utah, was like, will you be our official trainer instead of this other person? So I was sure. And so that's how I started with them. And then the America system. So those are the two biggest systems, America and USA, which I didn't know for the longest time. They reached out to me and said, would you help our girl too? At that time, it was Jennifer Sedler. So I started helping her, and then they asked me to come on and be the official trainer. And then last year, I started working with Future Productions, and they're in charge of 7 states. Iowa, Minnesota, just to name a couple. And they were referred to me from a former client that I had, Erica Franzva, who was Miss Arizona USA. And so they reached out to me, and they're like, yeah, we'd love to have you on board. So I went and spoke at the Beauty is Power weekend to all the contestants. And I've been working with now their clients as well, too. And then my goal is to work with, obviously, more states. And what really keeps me in it and why I'm in it is my philosophy is to empower, motivate, and educate. And for a lot of these young women, this is a time when they're so beautiful and they don't see it. Maybe because they're in the modeling, someone tells a girl who's a size 2, if you gain 5 more pounds, you can be a plus size model. These girls are starving themselves. They're over cardioing. They're, just in these unhealthy habits because people are just beating them down. And someone needs to lift them up. And so me coming in, I'm not intimidating. They don't have to worry about it. I'm not some creeper. I'm someone that genuinely cares. I have a daughter, and I tell them, I'm like, you girls are like the all-star team. Like I have 2 boys who love football. Like if they got a chance to meet, Larry Fitzgerald for one of them, the other one would be Gronkowski. Like that is their for my daughter, like she got a chance to meet former Miss America. That's like her all-star team. I go, so knowing I have that kind of impact to help these women that my daughter looks up to is awesome for me. So that's why I choose to stay in that field as well too. And a lot of these girls, when they compete in pageants, they're using it for a platform to help something else. Whether that's whatever charity they may be working for. So there's so much more to them. It's not like the traditional, oh, she's just a pretty girl. She doesn't exercise. She's got it made. There definitely are some. And there's some athletes, right, who don't work hard and they're just gifted. But a lot of these girls are working really hard. And, it's hard for them to stay at that level all the time that, hey, I need you to do a photo shoot tomorrow. I need you to do this. And so my goal with them is to keep them looking that way year round in a healthy manner.
Yeah, and that's difficult, right? Because to keep your body fat low and to keep that going, it's very difficult to do, right?
For sure. I tell them like their training is very much, and again, being a former collegiate athlete, it's very much like an athlete as far as the mindset. Definitely nothing athletic, and I tell them it's about walking on stage. That I am not saying, so people, I'm not saying this is the same as someone playing a sport, but the mindset of being in front of millions of people for these girls that go on there is very much the same, and being on point. These girls that compete for Miss USA or Miss America, they get one shot and then they don't get to do it again. They don't get a next year or another year. They can't move to another state and try. It's one and done, so, and then if they're doing this modeling too, and again, the agency calls up and basically that's who you're working for, they have to be on point. And yet to stay, lean, and to be mindful of what they're eating all the time can be wearing. I mean, I bet the thousands of people you have, listening to this, all of them at some point have probably tried a diet. Over 60% of our population is overweight or obese. That's facts. That means over 60% of the people are, in a sense, failing, because it's not okay to be unhealthy, and it's hard, so I'm not judging them, but that just shows you that over 60% of our population are struggling to even be healthy, how much harder it is to be at that level.
Yep. Yeah, and kind of, I guess a personal question that I have with it is one thing that I've struggled with is, okay, you're an entrepreneur, because I mean these girls too, they're not just doing this they have jobs, they're having to balance all this other stuff, so they have to also
Right.
have a lot of mental clarity. They can't just be on the zero carb, get shredded diets and not be able to function, right? Like,
Correct.
how do you do it in a healthy manner where you can get your body fat to where you want to be, you can be healthy, but also still have that energy and not have that brain fog and that comes with a lot of these other diets that are out there?
No, that's a great question. And, I myself too, I know you had mentioned too, you had dealt with some weight issues in the past. I lost 65 pounds to compete in bodybuilding. My family's overweight. Some of them, diabetes runs in my family. So, it's a struggle with my family, as well too. So yeah, it's not easy, but with these girls, is to find that balance and find exactly how many carbs and how many fats and how many protein they need. And during different times, yeah, I mean we'll definitely dial it in a little bit more at times, but most of the girls that I get when I first get them are not eating enough and are not lifting weights enough and doing too much cardio. So when you don't eat enough, people, right, your metabolism slows down. Your body stores fat. Typically, anything below 1,200 calories, let's just say, is unhealthy unless it's supervised by a doctor. So I try and get them, on average, if you were to say, what do these girls eat? 14 to 1,600 calories. For most of them. Most of them are between 110 to 130 pounds. But that's a wide range. I mean, I could have one girl that's eating 2,000 calories. But the biggest thing is consistency, just like anything in life. Why are you so successful? Do you have one good month and you're one and done? No. You consistently work your craft. And how do you know if you're doing well? You have to track your progress. So, that's one of the biggest things for them is to continually track to stay out of that brain fog and whatnot. We have to fuel them. Now, if they're doing more activity, they need more fuel. If they're doing less activity, might need less fuel. So there's not like I'll get people that say, okay, give me 5 things I should always do. It's like, I can give you 5 like kind of tips, but like everyone varies. If this woman over here is really active, her job is active, or she loves running, she's probably going to need a little more carbs because that's the main source of energy for your brain and your body. If this woman over here is maybe a student, so she doesn't have as much time throughout her day to exercise. She may need a little less carbs, a little more protein because it's going to get the metabolism going a little more. And so her diet might be a little higher protein. So it's not like a high protein, low fat, low carb diet is what works for everyone. It's a matter of track for, a good week or two, track how you're feeling, what your measurements are, and then from there we manipulate it. But on average, I would say the girls will work out anywhere, weight training, 3 to 4 days a week of strength training. Rep range is going to vary. If they have a problem area, maybe they store a little more in their lower half, which is very traditional for women. We might go a little higher rep for the most part there. If their upper body is a little smaller, which tends to be the case, we might go a little heavier. So the reps for the lower might be anywhere from 12 to 30. And the upper body might be, 6 to 10. And I encourage them to do yoga, 1 to 2 days a week too. Great for their mind, great to help elongate, great for flexibility. And then the cardio, it's going to vary. Again, a lot of them, they're not overweight. They're over the body fat percentage they want. So a woman who is 5'10", 130 pounds is not overweight. However, her body fat percentage might be 26%. And for a pageant, these girls are going to have to get down in the teens. So how can we do that without making her emaciated and bringing anything in? That's where we do the lifting, because that's what helps shape what they have.
Yep. Love it, man. So when you're working with a lot of these girls, because they can't all, be training with you on a daily basis, they're in Chandler,
Right.
Arizona. So, and like you said earlier, I mean, the traditional trainer has been, hey, you come in, it's one-on-one. So I know you've evolved to a lot of groups, a lot of virtual training. What does that look like?
Sure. So our brick and mortar, again, is in Chandler. And traditionally, I'll have 2 to 6 people in a group. So what that looks like is, say, Miss Arizona USA is coming in, and Chelsea, and we're going to focus on lower body for her, and because she's long, lean, we're going to do this kind. Now, let's say I have Alon, who is the current Miss Arizona Outstanding Teen, and her, because she's a dancer, she does a lot of cardio already. So her workout's going to be a little different. So they come in at the same time, but they have completely different workouts. And in that same workout, I might have a woman who's dealing with breast cancer, which my wife had twice. So she might be in the workout. I might have you in the workout. And obviously you're not going to do the same workout as a girl getting ready for Miss USA. I think you would look good doing it, right? But so it's specific to the person. So that's how we do our brick and mortar. And those sessions are typically 45 minutes in length. The virtual, the way that works is a person we might Skype or FaceTime, however they want, or even over the phone. I would send them a spreadsheet, and it has for them to track their proteins, their carbs, their fats. Did they exercise, yes or no? How are they sleeping? How are they feeling? They send that to me every week. In addition, they send measurements. And for those that feel comfortable, they'll send pictures too. Because since I'm not there to see them and measure them, that's how we can see and measure. Because again, when you get a woman who's 5'10", say 130, and she's like, I don't like the way my hamstrings look, I don't know what that means, right? I kind of have to see it. But also at the same time, because I deal with teens and that too, I'm like, whatever you feel comfortable with. I go, I at least need the measurements, because if I say, oh, she doesn't feel comfortable with her legs, what does she need? And I see her legs are 24 inches and her arms are 9, I'm like, okay, that's a big discrepancy. So they send their measurements, they send all that each week, and their food, and I send them workouts to do, sets, reps, exercises, everything they should do. On our website, on scottkeppel.com, and through YouTube, we have over 50 exercises right now, and we're always updating more on proper form. The other thing too is if someone can't find it, or they're just lazy, don't want to look, they can shoot me a text and say, I don't know what a bent over rear delt is. I can either send them the link, or I can just say, hey, Josh, real quick, take a video of me doing a bent over rear delt, and send it right over to them. If they have a question on their form, they're like, I don't know if I'm doing this right or not. What I can have them do is have someone film them, send me that, and then I, from there, can say, you know what, actually, when you are doing your squats, your knees are buckling a little bit, that shows me your adductors are weak. Here's what we're going to do to strengthen.
Yep. That's amazing, man. I love it. So so I know that you do a lot of, kind of post-recovery for cancer patients, right?
Yes, sir.
So, and it was something that you just mentioned that your wife had breast cancer twice with that. What are some things that, like, I don't know, like, what does that entail? Maybe somebody that's battled with that. Like, what are some things that they should be watching for and doing that to be successful with that recovery?
No, thank you. And yeah, that's obviously something that I'm passionate about as well too. Is because again, my specialty is the pageantry, pre and postnatal, and post breast cancer. Because those are 3 times among many when a woman is her most beautiful, but she doesn't necessarily feel that way. Like seeing my wife overcome what she did and the strength she had in dealing with it is pure beauty. But getting a double mastectomy, things change, for anyone. And sometimes some women have a hard time with that, rightfully so. Again. And I think that's where having me as a coach, it helps them, because I can't relate. I'm not comparing, I can just empathize with them and listen and share stories of others to help empower them. Sometimes we worry, like, me talking to you, I'm like, oh, he's an entrepreneur. He might not think I'm as successful. People kind of like get in their own head. But when it's like they can't even necessarily relate, I just know they can help. It makes it a little easier. So some things with that, like be mindful of, like for coaches out there or people, a lot of it is the mind. This is a harsh reality. A woman had it. Maybe she had a double mastectomy. Things aren't going to be the same. They're just, it's not. So we need to kind of move on from there and say, what can we do now where we're at to get things stronger? So we do a lot to focus on the posture because sometimes they'll hide. They don't like that area, and it's like, love that area. That saved you. So let's work on the upper back, the shoulders. Sorry, one second. Yeah. Oh. All right, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, good, man.
That was my son. But thank you guys. But so that's we got to work on the posture to help with that. And while in doing so, though, we have to be mindful that we don't aggravate it. And then that even goes into the squats. They might not be able to squat now and put a bar on their back because of the pull. And so they might think like, oh my God, I can't do squats again. No, we can do body weight squats, hold a kettlebell, hold a dumbbell, So showing them all that, because when we get below that line and we're not thinking straight because we're anxious, we're nervous, we're just not comfortable, we start to think like we can't do anything, we feel hopeless. And so we do a race every year, Busting Butts to Save Breasts, that we started once my wife had it. And the purpose of that and of me is to give hope. I can't cure it. I'm not smart enough to find a cure. There's a lot of great people that are doing that. But if I can give hope to this woman that she can maybe have her glutes look the way she wanted, maybe be as strong in every other area that she once was, that's what I want to get for them. And help them with their nutrition too, and say like, here are some foods that, that are better at building up your immune system. And here are some foods to maybe steer away from. I wrote an ebook, Fit Guide to Post Breast Cancer Recovery, to try and share that knowledge with people. And I have a website, bustingbuttstosaveBreasts.com. It's a free website that I'm always trying to get people to contribute articles to, and just the more information I can put out there to empower these women, or maybe it's a spouse, because I felt hopeless. Here my wife is. I remember the day she told me that she had it. I remember the doctor telling me what it was, and I remember saying to my wife, like, I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to work. And that's when I decided to get certified, because I was like, I am going to make sure she comes back even stronger than she went into this, and she is the strongest woman I know.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. I love it, dude. So, all right, so the website's scottkeppel.com. Right, and you have online, some online courses that people could take, nutrition courses. So you guys definitely make sure to go check that out. One question that I have, we talked earlier about obesity being a massive issue. I mean, the stats are something like 80% people are overweight, 40% are obese. But when you go look around, dude, it seems like it's way higher than that. It's very rare to see somebody that's in great shape, right? What freaks me out is childhood obesity. Right? Because you're seeing fifth graders now with atherosclerosis, and so if there, a lot of us that are listening to the show and watching the show, we have young ones and kids and whatever. As far as the family, because maybe not everyone wants to go out there and enter a competition, but we all need to take care of our health. And what do you recommend for kids, man? I mean, because obviously they need a different nutrition, different diet, but what are some recommendations for parents out there to help set their kids up for success?
That's a great thing. I actually just got done training our kids earlier at the gym. So one thing, they should be moving daily, an hour a day. Kids should be active. They don't, some kids aren't going to be in sports, and that's okay. But they should be doing something active. Here in Arizona, most of the time it's nice. I know it's a little hard at this point, but and I'm from Ohio, so I had the winter months. I get it. And during those months, you've got to be a little more creative, and it's hard. So parents, feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to send free information to them. But an hour. And the biggest thing I could say to parents is, it's got to start with you. You can't sit there, not exercise, eat chips, and go tell little Johnny to go into it. and expect him to do it. You know, if your kid is under 16, let's say, and he or she is overweight, it's not on them, it's on you. I mean, that's the reality. Again, no judgment. Maybe you're busy, you're doing everything you can, and I understand that, you know, but they're not the ones going to the grocery store and buying the food, you know, and that's what's hard though, is it can be expensive, you know, so I empathize with those, with the parents, but again, having your kid like be active, earning points to be before he or she plays on like the iPad or Xbox or whatever they have, you know, saying before we do that, you know, we're going to do 30 minutes of exercise. You know, we're going to run around, we're going to do push-ups, we're going to, you know, go outside and ride a bike, ride a scooter, just something. If they could even just cut out like the sodas, you know, and just help their children to be mindful. We don't want to punish our kids with food. Like with us, our kids might say, "Hey, can I have a soda?" It's like, okay, sure. What else have you had today? You know, and if their diet, you know, they're like, okay, you know, I had a cookie earlier, ice cream. It's like, well, I don't know if we really need this now. You know, so it's finding that balance. So if you can even have the kids set like goals and the parents like today, let's try and eat one more vegetable than we did yesterday. Today, let's try and have one less piece of candy. You know, just setting those small daily goals will allow you to set even bigger goals. But again, parents, that's where it's got to be. Is we have to be examples for our children. Yeah, you don't have to go out and do a bikini competition. You don't have to do, you know, a pageant. You know, but again, you can't ask your kid to not eat something or to be active and you not do it.
Yeah, it comes down to the thing that they don't do what you say, they do what you do, you know, and
Yeah.
yeah, and it's one of these things that, yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, it's up to parents to take the control because the school's not doing it, you know, right? The school system food is absolutely horrible. They're not educating anybody, and we've got to take control of our own health, dude. Because even physicians, dude, I mean, what's the stat? Like 60% of doctors are like overweight.
Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly, I mean, it's hard. So, I mean, again, I hope like the people listening know, like, you know, no judgment, like if they're overweight or that. I mean, it's hard. Like where do you get the information from? You know, they feel like they're in an ocean and, you know, no one's throwing them a life raft, you know, but if I can be that for someone and provide, you know, free information, someone can hit me up. I'll send them like, I've written because I coach football and I've come up with plans. I've spoken at several schools, for free, you know, and I'm more than happy to like provide like basic information for families, that they can hopefully implement. But the big thing is you have to take action, right? Like I can give you all the information, parents. Like I can give you workouts that you can do at home with no weight. I can give you games to play with your kids. I can give you ideas on food. But at the end of the day, you got to be ready to take that action. And again, it has to start with a parent being that role model for that kid.
Yep, I love it, man. That's awesome. So, what going back to you personally, man? I mean, what keeps you, you know, because I know you're always expanding, you're getting ready to, you know, you're always starting new, you know, create new products. You're getting ready to actually start your own podcast, you know, to give back at a higher level. What keeps you like going? Because it's so easy to get caught up in the whole good enough. You know, you could get caught up in the, oh, you know, we're doing really good. Let's just kind of
All right.
scoot. What keeps you leveling up, never accepting good enough, but always going after greatness?
Sure. No, thank you. I mean, you know, for me, just knowing like I feel like I have a gift, and my gift is to empower people. I don't necessarily think I'm any better than you, or this person over here, or this person over here, but that's my gift. And so, why keep it just for me? You know, selfishly too, I love helping people. I mean, it's awesome. You know, I also want to be able to provide a work facility for my trainers so they don't have to work anywhere else. Being a trainer is hard. I always tell people it's a fun job. It's a hard career. You know, you get people that cancel on you. They lose their job. They have to stop training with you. They're unmotivated, so they stop training with you. So you show up every day wanting to be there, but they don't want to, you know, so, and you get a client that late cancels, whatever it is. Do you charge them? Don't you charge them? You know, they're blaming you because they're not getting results, but you know, you get to wear like, you know, Lululemon and, you know, and make some good money. So I want to be able to provide a place that I can help educate, motivate, and empower, again, not just clients, but trainers. So every day when I go in, I look at, like, how can I ask you to be your best if I'm not my best? Again, just like the parent, I got to lead by example, and I feel our world, there's a lot of bad things going on out there, and what can I do to make it better? So every day, like, that's what helps motivate me is, knowing, like, we have our awesome military, police out there, all these people that are out there, they're protecting our freedom. So what can I do to give back? And this is the way I give back.
Yeah, I love it, man. So then do you personally have like a daily routine or a morning routine to get you at your best self so then you can, give your best to everybody that you go out there and lead?
Yeah, so something I do every day, I was doing before, but especially after the seminar, I stepped it up a little more too, is I pray every day. I'm Catholic. My faith is something that helps me. I thank God every day for what I have, and I pray every night to be better the next day, because I fall short some days. Now I start every morning just while I'm brushing my teeth, saying what I'm grateful for, and every night what I'm grateful for. I ask my clients what they're grateful for, and I share that. So that kind of helps me along the day. I work out about 8 a.m. 6 days a week is kind of my routine. I primarily do strength training. I'll do functional stuff in there. We have like Ninja Warrior days, we'll call it. We have monkey bars, we have sleds, we have all this kind of fun. Our gym's really cool. We have turf. So it's like a big playground, but I that's the time that I work out. And I just, every day I make sure, some days I get a better workout than others. But I make sure I set that time because I can't be my best for you or for all the people I help if I'm not taking care of myself. I also, I'm real with my food too. I tell people I like beer. Now I don't drink it like I used to. I don't abuse it like I used to, and to be honest, I used to. But that's my thing. That I enjoy. Sorry about that. But so I let people know, like, no, I don't just eat tilapia and carrots all day long. But I also have self-control. If I know I'm going to have pizza on Friday, I scale back a little during the day to allow myself to have pizza. And then that might mean on Wednesday, I pass up on something to have the pizza. And I think that makes it more relatable to the clients to know, like, I'm not some robot. And nothing against people that love to eat healthy all the time. But that's not me. I like to have like some treats in that too. I just need to have self-control.
Yeah, and I found too, it's kind of like the 80-20 rule, if you will. If you're clean 80% of the time, and then even when you have those cheat days, when you're really clean, it almost shocks your body, and you almost get better results cheating once in a while.
Exactly. I mean, and so, yeah, whether it's 80-20 or 90-10 or whatever it is, but again, the only way is to track it and see. The thing is, right, if you don't like where you're at, look in the mirror, and something's got to change, and it's got to come from you. So, if you don't change anything, like, nothing's going to change, right? I mean, so it's, you got to figure out, maybe you could do 80-20 and live the life you want. Good for you. Maybe I got to do 90-10. Maybe this person's got to do 95-5. Whatever it is, just like I like to work out 6 days a week. That's what makes me feel my best. And that seventh day, I'm still active. I do think everyone should take at least a day off to recover. But, some people like doing yoga 4 days and lifting 2. Some people like lifting 4 and yoga 2. It's finding that balance for you. And during different phases of your life, you might change what you like to do and what you don't like.
Yeah, and I love that you brought that up. The other day I had a fan of the show reach out. And he's like, hey, well, I hear all this, is it paleo? Is it ketogenic? Like, there's all these different diets, and a lot of them seem to conflict. Like, what's the best one? And you're right. There is no really best. It's what's best for you and your body, and you got to track. I mean, everybody responds. Like, I know for me, I can only have X amount of carbs by X amount of, like, this time in the day. Otherwise, I start gaining body fat, and dude next to me would be totally different.
Yeah, no, for sure. I believe in mindful eating. I mean, there are definitely some people that are flexible dieters, some people that are paleo, some people that are low carb, and that's awesome. And there's amazing coaches that focus just maybe on one of those fields. Totally great for them. For me, with my clients, I suggest to them to be mindful and let's track. Again, You might be able to eat carbs all the way until you go to bed and feel good the next day. You might say, like, my body fat goes up, I feel bloated, I feel gassy, I feel whatever, So again, we needed to track and see. My wife, after having cancer, we noticed she was breaking out into a rash, eating, and we're like, it's probably some kind of allergic reaction. And sure enough, almonds and eggs, which are healthy foods, were making her break out into a rash. So she had to stop eating those for a while, and now slowly put them back in, and she can't have them like she used to. But if she wasn't mindful of what she was doing, we wouldn't know. You just, you just have a rash, and that's okay, right? And people allow themselves to be okay with being mediocre. Right? The biggest enemy of great is good.
Yeah.
So if you want to be great, and whatever great is for you, maybe your great is 8% body fat. This person's is 16, 20. I mean, as long as you're healthy, which for women, it's typically 18 to 24% is optimal health and fitness. And for men, that tends to be a little lower, like up to 20%. If you're 40%, I'm sorry, you're obese.
Yep.
And that's not making fun. That's a fact. You are at higher risk for health diseases. That is a fact. So let's get you to where you're not. Let's get you to wherever that is for you. Maybe it's a size 10. Awesome. Whatever, there's no judgment on whatever your shape is, whatever your look is, but, so for you to get to that place, and whatever that is that gets you there, whether it's the 80-20, it's 90-10, it's paleo, it's counting your macros, it's whatever it is, carb cycle, and the only way again, is to stick to something, stay consistent, just like, as you can, I'm sure, attest to, like with your business. You're not the only successful one out there. I'm not the only successful trainer out there, and coach, but I have a plan that works well for me. I'd be more than happy to share it with you. Maybe it would help you, maybe it wouldn't. But, the only way you would know is to say, I'm going to follow Scott's plan for a couple weeks. I'm going to track my progress, and then I'm going to go from there.
Yeah. Love it, man. Love it. So this is this next question here is, I guess, for to really help those that are maybe, because we have a lot of listeners that are in the corporate world, that are where you were at when you were working for the big, the big franchise, and wanting to go on your own, right? So, but they know they want to be an entrepreneur, whatever that may be, any type of business out there. They hate corporate America. They know it's not for them, but man, they're freaked out to get started. So, knowing what you know right now, with all the knowledge that you have, if something happened and you lost everything financially, like health's good, family's good, all that's great, but you've retained all this knowledge over all these years, what's like the first couple things you do immediately, knowing what you know now, to go out there and rebuild and build that much bigger, faster, and rebuild really this massive business you built?
Sure, thank you. So what I would do is go out and get a team. Say my team left for whatever reason, build a team or bring my team with me. You can't do it alone. I would find that person to help you stay accountable, whether that is your significant other or a mentor, but you need someone to help keep you on track, because, man, there are days like you don't think it's going to work. You need that person to help, be your guiding light, to help say, you got this, let's do this. Just like I am as a trainer, how many different ways can I show you squats? But, you come to me for motivation, you come to me for guidance, you come to me because I'm in the field and I'm learning what's new, So I would say, if everything went, what I would do is form that team, go out and find someone, come get that person to help mentor me, and take that with me, and really realize how important not only the team is, but the clients are. And really give thanks to them. I feel that's something I've always done, and I have some clients that have been with me 12 years because of that. But if everything went, I'd say let's get a team and let's go.
Yep, love it, man. So let's say we got a lot of people out there, and I don't know if what the statistic is of our listeners as far as the health that they're in, but let's just look at America, right? So we know what the stats are for Americans, and some people are out there just like, man, I've tried these things before, nothing's really worked, and they just get to a point where they're in such a bad mental space where they're just checked out. Right? Whether they're struggling with obesity, being overweight. I mean, is there any recommendation of where you would just tell them, like, if there's like 2 or 3 things that they could start doing now, to get, just to go out there and feel that first small win? Because those wins start stacking up, man. Like, what would hey, dude, just change these 3 simple things or 2 things, and you'll start to feel some of these wins, and then they can try the next thing. What would you recommend that they start?
One is start moving. You got 5 minutes today, move for 5 minutes. Keep it simple, stupid, right?
Yeah.
You don't have the money to join the gym or whatnot, so just even walk. And if you're like, I have 5 minutes, walk for 5 minutes. And then tomorrow, maybe walk for 6. Or if you still only have 5, walk a little further. Instead of thinking this isn't enough, let's agree what you're doing isn't enough. So that one win, right there, that you set that goal, just like I saw a speech from a former Navy SEAL, I wish I could remember his name right now, but talking about making the bed, and that being the first task of the day, So I would say start exercising earlier in the day. There's pros and cons of both, but just that way you don't let the day get in your way, and now you're home. Choose a goal each day in food. Whether that's to add something healthy or eliminate something unhealthy that day. I have what I call my 5 F's: friends, food, family, fitness, and faith. My 5 healthy F's, and set a goal in each of those. So with the food, again, maybe today it's like I normally do 3 Cokes a day. Today I'm only going to do 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so from there, so those 2, and then the other one is I would write down the goals, and I would also set a goal that has something to do not related to that, something to do with even your mental. I'm going to read for 5 minutes. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to watch something that's not just mindless TV. I'm going to listen to this awesome podcast. But something to strengthen your mind as well too. So those are the 3 things. Is 5 minutes a day enough? No, not really. But it's more than 0. And now 5, maybe we can get 5 more. Now we doubled it.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just that ball of just adding. It's like you touch one person, they touch one, and next thing you know, you got, just like everything expands.
Yeah. It's the saying, how to eat an elephant one bite at a time, and you start with 5 minutes, and a decade later, man, now you're running a marathon. You never know, right? So, so I know you're getting ready to start a podcast, just so when that does launch, everybody knows where to go check that out. Is it going to be on ScottKeppel.com, or do you have another site for them to go check that out at?
It'll be on ScottKeppel.com, or you can go to ScottsTrainingSystems.com. It leads you right to ScottKeppel.com. We used to have 2 websites, and just to make it easier for people, we just have it all funneled to one.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'll be able to go on there. It's something that we're looking to start in August. We're going to start doing Tuesday talks at our studio. So we'll record some of that. But our first one is going to be on Own It. If you're not where you want to be, look in the mirror and own it.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do now? Whether that's with your physical health, mental, career, whatever it is, own your part in that arena of whatever it is and go forward.
Yep. Love it, man. That's awesome. So, last question for you. I started this podcast, as I'm sure the same reason that you're starting yours, to go out there and have a positive impact on as many lives as we possibly can. And I'm sitting there one day and I just got frustrated of all these quote unquote gurus, right? That are going out there, they're putting out information, writing books, but then you find out they've never actually done it. And I'm like, well, let me create a space and go out there and interview the doers. Guys like yourself that are in the trenches, that are doing this, that are getting results with business, health, every aspect of life. Interview you guys, so then our listeners can listen to the actual doers, get the right information, and go out there and have a positive impact. So our listeners are listening to this, man, because they want to go out there and live the most epic lives they possibly can. So with that being said, do you have any last words of motivation or inspiration they'd like to leave our listeners with so they can go out there and create that epic life they know they want and deserve?
Sure. One of my favorite quotes is, this is not how my story has to end. Again, if you're not where you want to be, you don't have to stay there. I'm not saying it's easy. And, you know, I also like Through the Greats, one of my favorite books, the Stockdale Paradox about unwavering faith. You know, and sometimes I won't lie, like I struggle with it. You know, so it's building up that support system, and you can't do it alone. You know, but you can do it. Right? Stop getting rid of I can't. Stop complaining. Stop whining. You know, go out there. Start making the world a better place. You know, so again, this is not how your story has to end. You know, you are the one that can go and change that story. So what are you going to do to do it?
Yep. Love it, man. Powerful words. And to our listeners, I know I end every podcast with this, you guys, but information without implementation is really just the start of delusion. It's not information that's power. It's taking that information, taking action on it, that then creates power in your world. So Scott shared so many just amazing nuggets with you guys. Take something that Scott shared, go out there and take action, whether it's with your business, whether it's with your health, hopefully a little bit of both, right? Go out there and take action with something that he shared so you can go out there and create the life that you know you want and deserve. And Scott, man, I know how busy you are, dude. This has been a massive honor having you on the show. It's I truly appreciate you spending some time with us and sharing your knowledge.
Thank you very much. No, it was my pleasure, and I really appreciate you reaching out to me. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, you guys, we will see you next time.